rugby, and you know it, we love Ron.
No, ladies. We love Sam.
If rugby was an exam, it would surely be called the Sam.
Sam, you're my man.
Ron, give up. There's only one man, and his name is Sam.
In a tackle, if you get slammed, it's probably stem.
Sam, so what? I still love Ron.
Even in Doha, we love Ron.
Sure, I had that one. Then my own father gave it to Ron.
Ronnie is in hospital. He's had some surgery, and he played on my emotions. He said that, you never know what happens, and if I can make sure that you don't steal it from him. But good attempt, very good attempt there, Sam. You nearly had it. You had the love. And then Ronnie just grabbed it back there at the end, so he remains in the lead.
Yeah.
But, hopefully he's back next week. It sounds like everything's gone.
People might get the wrong idea because of him being bold.
I think that was a birthday thing, so not related. So get well soon, Ron. Hope to see you back soon. Welcome to another episode of the Box Kick Rugby Podcast. You're in the UAE. Sam joining me tonight. Had a good week. Good last 2 weeks of rugby. We were blessed over the last week. We had former Springbok fly half and Springbok kicking coach Luke Kuhn visit us.
So were you happy with the week? Did everything go to plan?
Yeah, I think it was a great week of kicking. We had, I reckon 100 plus kids during the week participate, fine-tuning the art of kicking, some learning from scratch, never kicked before. Most of the girls never attempted kicking off a tee before. So wonderful to see how they learned, how eager they were to learn, how at the end of the session, some of them were able to actually turn out results that quickly. Very rewarding to see that, and everything very smooth. Thank you to everybody who participated. Luke Kuhn was phenomenal in how we encourage any parent or coach next to the field, come join, come learn, because the benefit is in what happens next. Kids go home now with all these drills and knowledge, and how they apply it continuously to become great is where the secrets lie. And so fabulous week. Thank you to everybody that participated and helped. Very smooth week. Your thoughts on working with a seasoned international coach? Any takeaways?
Well, I think the first thing that a lot of people notice is like all the kids there are a lot more quiet than normal, because it's quite intimidating being coached by an international coach. And the more you got to speak to him, the more you found out he's actually a pretty nice and chill guy.
Yeah, calm. I think it brings a calmness. You understand the knowledge is there, the experience is there, and then there's a calmness that comes with it. Yeah. Still expecting, instructions to be followed, but generally fabulous person, just wonderful, great gift. I think that part of coaching is a gift. The rest you can learn, but the art is in how you're able to take people with you. And I was very impressed when I saw how kids of all ages, boys, girls, responded. We would love to show all the videos we were able to collect during the week, but as we put them together in one place, we realized our friends at home will be sitting in front of YouTube all night long watching kick after kick after kick. So what we are going to do is we're going to show a little bit of that during this episode, as well as some of the future episodes, to make sure that all the boys and girls who came out and participated will get to see their kicks, but they won't all be done in one episode.
What are we practicing, Jacob? Sweet spot. So it's a bullseye drill, but off your tee. And turn, start the steps, get your spot. Small. Well done.
Bang, bang, yeah, boom, bang, bang. Get the ill style and this shit go boom.
Nice, come on. Yes, lovely cross. Awesome, you work.
Get the ill style and this shit go boom, yeah, boom, bang, bang, yeah, boom, bang, bang, yeah, boom, bang, bang. Get the ill style and this shit go boom, yeah, boom. The sound comes, yeah. Get style and this boom, back, bang, bang, bang. Every man, basement freaking get the shit we speaking. Music is our addiction.
Moving on to lessons from the laws this week. We've got quite a busy one this week on that front. We ran an Instagram poll. Try or no try?
Run around the outside. Ball's been put on the ground, picked up by Liam Caldwell. He's passed the ball backwards to a Quinn, and the Quins are on the ball with a try here.
Most of you, I think, got it right in the end and said try. Lots of comments, emails, WhatsApps, lots of debate around this one. Yeah. And again, just highlights how difficult it can be for a referee in these situations. I mean, at first when I saw it, I don't know about you, I think you said from the start you thought it was a try. When I saw it at first, I thought, yeah, I had a process. Was there a ruck? No, there definitely wasn't a ruck. But have the conditions of a tackle been met? Yes. He's got knees on the ground. He still has the ball in his hand. Is there then, therefore, an offside on the tackle? Some say, well, the ball determines the offside. For me, when I studied the laws to try and figure this one out, I thought that, point C actually applies here, where joining the area of the tackle still requires the player to join from his own goal line, not the opposition goal line. But in the end, what we have discovered is that this was a try and a good call by the referee and his assistant on the field, and a difficult one. Maybe for them it was easy because they know these things, but In this case, it's determined as general play, and in general play, in this case, there was no offside line, and therefore the try should stand, and the correct decision was made. So well done to our officials. But again, what we wanted to highlight here was that this can become tricky. Yeah. These difficult situations happen. Moving on to the next one, also an interesting one. Barrel House versus Bahrain. And this happened.
Yeah, and that's going straight out. That's straight up. And that's half. A half time being called on a... All right.
Interesting one, this. When I first looked at it, I thought it was fine. You know, goal line drop in, kick directly into touch on the half time. Let's have half time. I didn't really... But then as I think the commentator in the game kind of said, hang on, is that right or not? But then left it, and we kind of brought that up afterwards to say, is that what should have happened there? And what we found was it's clearly an example of an incorrect restart. And an incorrect restart, 5 meter scrum or line out, you have the choice. And so ultimately a different result, but an interesting one. I've never actually, it's the first time I've ever seen a goal line drop out go directly into touch. Yeah. I've never seen that before. So hence it prompted us to ask and look into that. But again, just highlights again on the spot, our referees have a difficult job. You know, the things you think won't happen
end up happening.
Speaking of things you never think will happen, leads me to our third one. In Bahrain, the Hurricanes visiting Bahrain. And I don't actually know what the laws are around these. So any of our referees out there, if you want to weigh in, please feel free. This was a difficult one because we all want the welfare of players to be top of mind. Hurricanes changed direction and play, had a clear overlap, and suddenly the person focused on receiving the ball runs into a medic that's come onto the field for what appeared to be a shoulder injury. Now, it's not a life-threatening injury, it's not a head injury. France play Ireland, take the game of the weekend. It's the 80th minute. France are ahead by 4 points. Ireland's 5 meters from their goal line. They change direction, they generate the overlap, and the medic runs into the field, and they lose the opportunity to use the... What will happen? Yeah. You know, and as we say, it's these things that you think is very unlikely that it will happen, they happen. This was a very interesting... I don't think we have any answers for this one, other than to say that we fully subscribe to player safety and think that when a first responder sees an issue, and we saw a good example of that in an under-16 match on Friday evening. I think it was the Exiles under-16s versus the Tigers under-16s, where flanker Martin Font got a fairly substantial knock, and the wonderful work by the medical or the first responders next to the field immediately saw it and rushed onto the field to support him. But this is a difficult one, you know. It's a very odd one. You think it would never happen, but it did. So any of our referees out there, if you want to weigh in on this, help people understand how do you approach these situations. I mean, then we saw a really interesting one around red cards. So the line out, the hooker from the Exiles, went for the collapse, got his timing slightly off, probably was a bit lucky to get away with being late on the timing. But
Quinn's line out, straight off the top, easy ball there, ball's gone in, Josh Hall's taking the hit up. So the refs are meeting here.
Play immediately stopped, as you can see on the video. The referees discussed this, the assistant reported it to the referee. And then there was no doubt there was a punch. I think from what we understand, there was an apology, but from one player to another after the match. And so, there's no doubt that it was a punch and therefore deserving of a red card. But what I found quite interesting in this case was all the focus went onto the player who got punched.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we've seen this across rugby, whether it's locally or internationally. And I guess this is some of the sins that come into our game from football where players tend to milk the situation. But I'm not saying he milked it or not, but I think the feeling from people around the pitch, certainly from the commentary, can hear the feeling was that he milked it. But so what? Yeah. Punch is a red card. Him milking it is irrelevant. But it sounded like it aggravated a few people, and we apologize for some of the terrible language that comes with the video.
All right, so there's a yellow card for Quins there. Huh?
Should be off for an HIA. Hit to the head.
All right, so Exiles have a line out here. Bit of stage work by Munib, but he's got the card he desired. He seems to be holding his head, which is a concern.
So there is no diagnosis pitch side ever in the UAE.
But yeah, it punch red card, right, Sam? I mean, there's no mitigating factor there. But then, literally a few minutes later, we had an incident where an elbow allegedly went on the side of a player's face.
Stood up, put the ball on his foot. Oh, and then elbowed in the side of the head as he ran past. Stood up, put the ball on his foot. Oh, and then elbowed in the side of the head as he ran past. We've got to go back for that. Might have to look at a big elbow there. That'll be cited for sure. I'll have a bit to think about probably with the citing commission, but good win for the Exiles.
Now, we looked at this a little bit because the reaction was so massive from next to the field, from what you can pick up from the commentary, that focus on the punch went solely towards the player that was punched, and how the focus on whether it was a late shoulder or a charge or as the commentator alluded to, an elbow in the face, how that whole focus went onto trying to get a red card. Do we think UAE Rugby, which I think is on a great path with a lot more of the games being live, we would not have had this footage nor been able to enjoy the games. None of us are Exiles nor Quins fans. Admittedly, we are Hurricanes members, we support the Hurricanes, but we still had a lot of interest in watching the game. It's nice to watch. And so we did ask our podcast members, whether they think improvements can be made within this great process. And there's lots of these examples going around every week when we watch it. I just thought this one was kind of extreme. But certainly a fiery game out in Abu Dhabi, Exiles walking away with a win. Sam, another episode. Busy week. We didn't get around to too much rugby. We were out kicking most of the week.
Long, tough week.
Long, tough week. Oh, not tough, fun. And we're hoping to get out to see a couple of semi-finals over the weekend. Good luck to everybody playing in the playoffs. And with a prep during the rest of the week. And remember, if you're going to kick anything or anyone this week, make sure it's a box kick. Make sure it's a box kick. See you next time.